Hello and welcome to the Magic of Human Beings. I'm Cristina da Silva. I'm your host. The Magic of Human Beings was created to share stories of inspiring people who are doing incredible things out there, and hope we can get inspired and connect. And today's guest is a fantastic woman. Her name is Fabiana Matos. She's a nutritionist, therapist, and a coach health. So now let's bring Fabiana in. Well, while she's coming, I would like to start with this quote that she's been using it, which is, one cannot think well, love well, sleep well, if one has not dined well. And that's Virginia Woolf. Let's see. Hello, Fabiana.
Hey, hello. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello, Lina.
Wonderful being here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for being part. And I just started by reading this beautiful quote that you have on your site, which I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I really love. I think it really illustrates well what it is, the importance of food, but not only from the aspect of nutrition, but the social aspect of it as well, and how we connect with it.
Yeah, yeah. And we can't function in any ways if we are not well fed.
Absolutely not. Our brain doesn't work, our body doesn't work. And again, it's what brings people together as well, right? I think there are many ways of celebrating food, and one of them is socializing.
Yes. Yeah. Socializing, it's a great way to share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so important, such an important part of our well-being. Socializing, I mean, what we're going through now is terrible because as a human beings we made socialize, right? And food brings people together, cultures, you pass on your culture through your food as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yes. And even now that you're saying that, I'm thinking now of when they were having in London, where they were having activism, and once the police they realized that people would stay longer, like with Extinction Rebellion, because they have so much. They were well prepared, giving people tea and free food.
Yeah.
So they realized, okay, so they got all their equipment to be cooking, because they know when there is food, people gather together and they will stay longer because it's how they socialize.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a central part of our function, biologically, physiologically, but also socially and psychologically. It's so important. It's obviously we live in a world where eating disorder is so prevalent. In fact, it's the Eating Disorder Awareness Week, and obviously we need to be aware of not being obsessed, but when food is treated with respect and love, and when you understand your body, it's amazing. I mean, food is wonderful.
And Fabiana, before we get into more
Yes.
details on that, I just want to know, I can hear you, there is a slightly echo, but maybe it's only for me. Anyone listening, can you listen, both of us, well?
Let me take my headphones off. Maybe it helps. How is it now?
Oh yes, I can
Is
hear
it
you.
better? Cool.
Yes, for me.
Was my headphones then?
Oh, that's great. For me, it's much better now.
Great.
So, Fabiana, I always start by asking the person's background.
Well, yes. So, I'm Brazilian, and so how? how I got started with nutrition. So my mom is a native Indian heritage in Brazil. And yes, and we are, which I'm very proud of. So we grew up with that culture of using food as medicine, herbs, and that knowledge that she had and been passed. And this always been central to our house, the way we always function. So I never really thought much about it. My mom was a big inspiration for me to get into this path. But when I came to London 20 years ago, obviously I forgot about that, the part of my life being too busy, being in a different country, and so on and so forth. So I really got away from that side, and then I put a lot of weight. And a few years later, with work and the pressures of we all have in London, I start having problems, hormonal problems. I start feeling depressed and anxious, and obviously I never connected to the way my lifestyle was then. And then when my mom passed, and I'm talking more than 10 years ago, there was a shock for me. It was really a shock in the system. And because she wasn't well for some time, that really turned my life around. I thought, well, she was trying her best to look after herself. She just didn't know how. She had high blood pressure, a series of other problems, and she didn't really know in a more contemporary, convenient way how to look after herself. So that really got me thinking, and got me really thinking about, well, it must be a better way. She grew up with all that culture, with all that knowledge, and then she lost that. How did she lose that? So then,
And how old was she when she died?
she was relatively young. She was 69.
Wow.
Yeah, she was really young. And then all her struggle the last few years of her life was trying to do her best. But she was on, poached breast chicken and rice without salt. I mean, how can you live like that? This is not life, right? So obviously she had peaks and troughs. She would be good for a month or so, and then she would drop everything and eat a good feijoada.
Okay,
Or
a feijoada.
something. Yeah.
So
yeah.
for those who don't know what feijoada is, it's a very heavy Brazilian dish full of different pieces of the pig with black beans.
Yeah, it's delicious,
It's
but
delicious, yes.
and it can be healthier, but it's not ideal. So that all got me thinking that it must be a better way. So I start then looking back my childhood and the way I was brought up, and talking to my sisters who were really into that as well. So I decided then to retrain as nutritional therapist. So then I'm talking 2012. So that was quite a difficult decision, because I thought, okay, I want to retrain, I will go back to college. But I wasn't really convinced that the conventional teaching of, I thought at first to be a dietitian, but I wanted something more holistic, something I could really understand how the whole body works, the human being works, because we are all so different. And I wanted to have a better understanding. And I like Ayurveda quite a lot, and Chinese medicine and all those things. So then I got into functional medicine, which really opened my eyes to a
And
completely different world.
and before function medicine, were you already studying about food and
I was
nutrition?
researching a lot because I was trying to decide, and it took me about 2 years to decide what course to do. because I really wanted to do, something that resonates with my culture, with my lifestyle, and so on. So then I found functional medicine. For me, then, was something completely new, and I really resonate with what I believe and what I think is um, is really efficient in terms of not only treating people with metabolic diseases and all that, but educating people to empower them, because it's about empowering people as well. People then,
And
yeah.
could you just give us a definition? What is function medicine, please?
Yeah, so functional medicine, functional nutrition, integrative medicine or integrative nutrition is basically a shifting paradigm on how we look at treating diseases. So functional medicine looking to the whole person, body, mind, purpose, or soul, or emotions, whatever you want to call it, and look at the root of the causes, not just the symptoms.
Wow.
So you if you need to, you extinguish the fire, but what you really do is to look at the roots. And the roots can be so many things, and also looking at the whole person. You look, when I have a patient, a client, I don't look at just that symptoms they're presenting. We talk about the emotions, we talk about the network support they have, we talk about the lifestyle, we talk about, the mother's pregnancy, if they can find about that. Because
wow, way back as well.
Way back, if we can find out, because now we know, for example, it's not just the DNA, the genes, but now we know that even what our grandmothers ate and the lifestyle they had can influence our genes. Yes, it's phenomenal. And it's so exciting talking about all of that, because again, we are different. We're all different. Even twins, even identical twins are different. There's a extremely interesting and important study now being conducted by Dr. Tim Spector by I think Imperial College or UCL with twins, and about the differences on their microbiome. And it's astonishing how different it is. So we all different, therefore we cannot be treated equally. And then when you look at the person, is a whole story. Sometimes years of abuse with food, alcohol, or psychological abuse. Stress is so detrimental to our health. Sedentarism is detrimental. So it's a whole picture. It's like a puzzle. I look at trying to link the dots, trying to understand why that system is not working properly. And another thing is, nothing works in isolation. Everything, we are a whole system,
Yeah.
So
and I think that with everything, it's a beautiful saying, we are all, yes.
Yeah, so this is functional medicine, basically, is science-based. There is nothing that is not proven scientifically. It's an amazing time to be doing this now. I feel really privileged, because it's a really shifting paradigm. There are a lot of very renowned doctors here in the States. This is where the movement really started. In Brazil, now all over the world. We know Germany in Europe is the country that is the leader in complementary medicine. Yeah, always been. Australia is the leader in the world. They've been doing this for years and years and years. And there's a really shift in the paradigm. There are quite a lot of doctors in UK that are really the forefront of this new approach in medicine, if you like.
Yes, fantastic. I love that. Much better to see as the whole than just like, oh, you're feeling this, let's just give you that, and just for the symptoms to go away. No, it's deeper than that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, not to say, and let's make it really clear, I'm not against medicine, or I'm not
Mm-hmm.
against conventional medicine. Is we are very lucky to be here now, because we have access to so many wonderful
Yeah.
advancements in science. And acute medicine is phenomenal. And again, we're lucky that science nowadays, and especially nutrition is a relatively new science. Is a little bit more than 100 years that we know. It's nothing in terms of discoveries, but obviously, the technology we have nowadays and so on. But when you talk about certain metabolic diseases, for example, high blood pressure, diabetes, and so on, they are directly related to food. And doctors, we can argue about anything, everything, right? Especially diets and so, and integrative
Oh,
nutrition, and But one thing that no one can argue is that things like diabetes type 2 can be reversed with food.
oh, really?
Yeah, can be reversed with food. But then if you think that doctors, do you know how many hours doctors in UK, how many hours of nutrition they have in
No.
7 years of training?
Studies, training, no. How many?
10.
Oh, wow.
10 hours of nutrition. In the States, it's 7, is even more. Yeah, I mean, 3 hours more, 3 hours less is not going to make a difference. But I'm just saying that to illustrate that how, unfortunately, medicine is thought to be diagnostic and pharmaceutical. You give a pill, and then that's it. You live with the pill. And I'm not against that, but I think there are better ways, and we need to educate and empower people, because then you can make your decisions, an
Yes.
informed decision. Whereas and another thing is, nutrition is not it's not a quick fix. It's a
Yes.
journey. You have to be prepared to understand what is going on with your body, what, your limitations, or it's a journey. It's a journey of self-awareness. And there are quite a lot of compromises you have to do, but it's amazing. Once you get there, you see the difference.
And now that you said it's like it's a journey, I found this on your site and I thought it was so beautiful. It's like your hope. A lifestyle transformation is about the journey, not the destination. From simple changes to big, intimidating challenges to encouraging and exciting results. Every individual has the capability to look internally and identify what may hindering their progress. Each individual will face different challenges, but we are all capable. My hope is that I can assist in empowering people through their journey. Woo! I love that. I was
Yeah.
so inspiring.
Oh, thank you. I find it extremely inspiring, and I'm so passionate about that. And I feel so grateful as well for having something I love so much, and being able to work with that is a privilege. And again, for me, it's still a journey. I'm not perfect, and I'm still learning every day, learning about me, learning about science. And it's fascinating. I find fascinating, like we said, it's the magic of a human being from
Yes.
inside out. And like Virginia Woolf said, we need to eat well to feel well.
Yes.
Food is more than just fuel. food is, and when you talk about pharmaceutical, it's all from the very base is from food, from plants, right? Molecular, molecules. So when we talk about nutrition, how can nutrition help? It's not just having a balanced nutrition, which is really essential, but is sometimes, and a lot of times, therapeutically, how that can help manage, treat diseases, and even reverse diseases.
Wow, even reverse disease.
Even reverse, as I said, diabetes type 2, there is an array of studies there that shows that it can be reversed.
And I'm just, a friend of mine is here, is watching, called Livia, and she showed me a book, which I don't remember the name now, but because her wife, Debbie, a dear friend of mine, she just died of cancer last year.
Okay.
And they were reading, and so many different things. And she got this book that she said was incredible.
I want to know.
Yeah, Livia, could you write down the name for us, please?
Please, Livia. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And about the food and what it can nourishing, not just our cells, our body, our soul.
Yeah, and talking about cancer is really interesting because obviously it's a terrible disease. And I have a lot of people that ask me, oh, but you think, it cures cancer? It's not just about curing disease, because a lot of medicine doesn't cure some, a lot of disease as well. I think there are two points there. One is a misconception of what it's called alternative medicine, because if you put nutritional therapy there in that category, it doesn't mean that it's not science-based, but it doesn't promise to cure anything. But if anything, that can support a treatment.
Okay.
Chemo or radiotherapy, or even if you're taking antibiotics, nutrition can support your body to cope with that stress, because anything that you put in your body is a stress. Excessive food, alcohol, medication,
the steroids.
Exactly. So food can help you to support your body to cope with those. And another thing is, the psychological effects of that as well. So when you talk about nutritional therapy, we also look at how we can support clients with their psychological, mental states as well, and well-being. Because if your mind is not well, your body is not going to be well. And it's physiological, it's biological, it's not just, we know that if you're not well, you don't function. It's physiological. There is a physiological process that happens when you are stressed, or when you're sad, or trauma. Nowadays, we know that trauma, there is a link between trauma and autoimmune disease.
Oh.
Yeah.
And, so Livia said she totally understands what we are saying, and the name of the book is Brain Food.
Oh, yeah. Is the author Tom, is Dr. Tom, oh my God, Dr. Tom, or Dr. David Perlmutter. Oh, she can send to us later. But yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Edson is here as well, and he's going like, "Oh, yes."
Oh, thank you, guys.
And because he's a coach, and he does have the similar approach that when he's working with someone, that it's so it's like a function coaching, function nutrition. Which has to be like your lifestyle, your food, your sleep. It's like you can't work. You have to have all these things going well in your life. And so the author is Lisa Moscone.
Ah, right. Yes. Okay. Okay. I haven't read it. I need to. Yeah, it's certainly on my list. I have a massive list of books to read. But yes, I heard about her. In fact, I don't know if you guys know. She's she's in there's, I mean, podcasts nowadays are phenomenal, right? And I follow a few doctors. One of them is Dr. Ragan Chatterjee. He's an amazing one of the pioneers in functional medicine in UK. He's wonderful. And she's in one of his yes, Lisa Moscone, one of his podcasts.
Oh,
I
he's
can
one of the
send
guests.
all of this. Yeah, I can send all of this for you later. You can share with
Oh,
everyone some
fantastic.
books to read. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I can put in the post of a post talk
Yep.
for people to.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. And so is that a way then you do then personalized nutrition?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Personalized nutrition. It's essential. I mean, is the base of my work and how I
What?
approach people, because again, we are all very different. My diet is not your diet, supplements, everything, because we all have different stories. We all have a different biological composition.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be personalized. And even supplements, for example, people often ask me, oh, do you recommend this or do you recommend that? I don't. The only supplement I recommend for everyone is vitamin D, especially in
Oh
this
my God.
country.
How
Vitamin
important
D.
is vitamin D? Tell us.
Vitamin D.
How
Especially in
important?
this country, because we have we don't have much exposure to the sun, but it's essential. With immune system, it's essential for your metabolism.
And can we
So,
buy like any vitamin D, like from Boots, Holland
well,
and Barrett? How?
yes, you have to look at one. Vitamin D has to be the D3, the calciferol.
D3.
And yeah, and you also have to look at with supplements in general. Always look at the ingredients, because supplements, they should be from food, right? Also, because synthetic supplements, your body doesn't quite understand, doesn't quite get it. So it has to be from food, from reputable sources. And also a lot of supplements, they contain quite a lot of fillers, which are
Fillers.
components, yeah, that need to be there to kind of carry that component within your body, to put in a mild way. But most of the time, the more commercial supplements, and especially the cheap ones, they are cheap for a reason, right? They normally bulk up the supplements with a lot of different things that shouldn't be there. So they are made cheaper.
Okay.
So in order to be cheaper, they need to bulk up with other things that shouldn't be there. So always look at the ingredients.
Okay.
Always look at the ingredients. You shouldn't have a list of ingredients. It's like what you put in your skin. You shouldn't have a list of ingredients. When you buy your food, the ingredients should be really minimal and simple. The same with vitamins and supplements in general.
Okay. Shouldn't be So
Now,
if you don't understand much about the ingredients, but you see it's very big, you're like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
okay.
Alarm bells,
That's
yeah.
okay. That's a good advice. I like that. Oh, oh, very useful information, Vanya is saying.
Oh, hello. Thank you. Hello, Vanya.
And when you start in this path, like,
Yeah.
did you have doubts along the way?
Oh
How?
my God. Yeah. I mean, doubts in terms of skepticism, doubts about myself, whereas I was cut for this, or all the way. When I started, I had a lot of skepticism. With supplements, for example, I didn't believe in supplements. I thought, no, you can get, all your nutrients from food. Unfortunately, you can't, because I mean, you can't. Obviously, you can, but you need to think therapeutically. You need to think about one. Unfortunately, our soils are depleted.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, especially if you don't eat organic, you have more fertilizers, pesticides.
Yeah.
Our meat is full of
Antibiotics.
antibiotics,
Antibiotics.
hormones. Yeah, animals are fed corn and soy, so there is a series of problems there. We also have what is in our environment, certain heavy metals that are in water, in our clothes, in makeup, shampoos. They can, yeah, it's a crazy world. They can compete with minerals. So
Ah,
they can compete with molybdenum or copper, or so it's not that we can supply our bodies. Not all of us can supply your bodies with just food. If
okay.
you have a condition, if you have a health issue, again, I don't advise any supplements apart from vitamin D to anyone if I don't know them.
Okay.
Then if I haven't had a chance to understand what's going on with them, because it's really personal. And because even nutrients, they interact, and sometimes they interact with medication as well, so it's really complex. But yeah, so I was skeptical about supplements, and then I learned that no, there's a lot of complexity, and there's a lot of other things that interact with it. um the learning, is so much to learn, is so much to understand, but obviously you don't know everything, and you don't know everything from the top of your head. But it's a constant learning, it's a constant, I'm constantly studying, which I love, I absolutely love. But yeah,
Keep growing,
you're
Fabiana.
growing, yeah, you're growing. And then
Oh,
I changed my mind about things a lot, and the more research that comes out, the more we understand. And in general, scientists, they thought, oh, actually that didn't work that well, actually, because we are with technology as well, we are learning more and more and more fast as
mhm.
well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Oh,
lots of doubts.
lots of doubts, but there is
Yeah.
something stronger there that kept you in your track.
Yes, I mean, it's fascinating. And I find fascinating what's going on inside our bodies. And, when you see the trajectory of food and how they react at a cellular level is beautiful. It's magic. It's really fascinating, the effects they have in our bodies, in everywhere in our bodies.
Mhm.
So that
And
I found, yeah. Tell me.
if you could say what was the single thing that inspired you to follow that path, what do you think it would be?
I think was the struggle, my mom's struggle of
Mhm.
trying her best to
Okay.
be healthier, but not understanding how, not really getting how, despite all the knowledge she accumulated along her life with her background, And I think that really brought me to so we have to go back to basics. We have to understand. I grew up, to be very honest with you, I never had a carton juice until I came to London.
Mhm.
Not because we didn't have it in Brazil or we couldn't afford it. It's just because it wasn't part of my life in my house. We would make our juices, you know. And so that really inspired me, because so it must be a better way to do
Wait.
that. And the empower thing, you empower people to take care of their own health. It sounds counterproductive, but I don't want a client for the rest of their lives. I want them to, after we work together, they understand how their body works, what works for them, and I'm always here to support. But I want them to, you know, be able to be independent and
Yeah.
to be inspired to learn more, you know.
Well, I have to say, just these few days, because we are coming to conversation, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at your post, and I'm putting some of your posts out there, and it's been so inspiring. And then I'm cooking,
Thank
and I'm
you.
thinking, oh, I'm using white and greens and this. And suddenly, I'm like, oh yes, it's very colorful. The colors here. This is contain. So the community that you're creating is beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much. It is very humbling, you know, because another thing that's really important for me, I love cooking, and obviously I want to have beautiful pictures, you know. I love taking photos of my food, and I like that, it's fun. But what I always, also because I'm busy, I don't have time to cook beautiful food. I do, but you know, weekends or so. But I on a day to day, I'm as busy as everybody else. But eating well is my priority, is my job. So, but what I want to say is that everything I try to pass on to my clients and my community is that everything can be very simple, you know. You don't need to be, a lot of people sometimes they don't start in this journey because they think they're not, that's too complicated. And when I say everybody's capable, we are, you know. It's just, for me, is about taking those layers, you know, of difficulty and going back to basics, you know. I mean, I cook my vegetables, I go to my farmers markets on a Saturday. Something I love, especially now, is the highlight of my social life. Going to the farmers market. So we get our food there on a Saturday. I cook throughout the weekend and put in the fridge or in the freezer. And during the week when I'm really, really busy, I just take out of the fridge, you know, and then I just reheat it and I have a meal. I have all the vegetables I can find, all ferment and everything. It's planning is essential, but is again is losing up, you know, and not be scared of cooking something that not all the time is good. Sometimes I cook things that I go, really? Really? I don't put on Instagram.
Yeah, but sometimes there are foods that don't look that appealing, but they're quite tasty as well. You're like,
As well, exactly, as well, you know. But yeah, and then we eat with our eyes too, right? And I work in the food industry. I've been working in the food industry for over 15 years now. And I've been really lucky to work with amazing chefs, and I learned a lot. Yeah, and I'm not a chef, I'm not a cook, never worked in the kitchen. They would never would let me in the kitchen at all. But obviously, the inspiration from chefs and chefs that really care about health and well-being, and you know, I've been really fortunate to work in this field. And obviously, for me, the appeal, you know, the visual appeal is important.
yes,
Right?
yes,
It is important. And
yeah,
so when you see a beautiful plate with all the colors there, you wanted to eat it, right?
yes. And also, it's so everything is so combined. Like it's beautiful. You want to eat it, and that eating it, it feels good. It tastes good. It looks good, and all yourself start transforming from in other areas from that
Absolutely.
relation
Absolutely.
with the food.
Yeah, and
And
your brain.
yeah, in your brain. And I love what you said about back to basics, because my first conversation, The Magic of Human Beings, we were talking about this as well. Back to basics.
Yeah, it's so important because I think and don't get me wrong, I need convenience too. You know, I use a lot of convenience that we have in our reach now, right? But I think we do need to step back and really look at what is beneficial and what is detrimental, you know. And back to basics, in we talked about stress and mindfulness and meditation, and it is so important. Eating, for example, when you eat, I hate eating in a hurry, and it's so detrimental to your health, you know. And that we now know the connection between brain and digestion, you know. We know now that bacteria and some yeast can influence your appetite. They can, yes. Yes, your microbiome is as important as your brain, you know. And that, yeah, it's fascinating, right? But it's true. As a therapist, when I was in college, we started doing clinic, observing clinics and working with our teachers. And at some point, everything would start in the gut. And we're like, really? It's getting boring. We want to, you know, we want to treat, I don't know, this or that or the other. And to this day, everything starts in the gut. Your immune system, you know, is there. Majority part of your immune system is in your gut.
Yeah, and talking about immune system, I had some people before asking me about what things could they do to boost their immune system.
Well, sleep is super important. And again, the science of sleep is relatively new. And now we are discovering that is, you know, sleep is regenerating. In fact, there's an interesting book by Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep, where he starts saying that if sleep wasn't so important biologically and physiologically, would be the biggest fuck up of of biology. Because why would we sleep at least 8 hours
a day?
Yeah, exactly. It must have a very important function, right? And there were studies done, in fact, back in the 40s, that you can go without food for a length of time. You can go without water less, you know, you can die of dehydration. And you can go without sleeping, even in a shorter, even less so. So you cannot function. Your organs, you literally have a multiple organ failure if you don't sleep.
Wow.
That's how important it is. So that's when your brain cleans up, you know, that's when you are sleeping. So sleep is super important. If you don't sleep, you don't have a good immune system.
And is there any good foods that are good for helping you sleep?
Yes. Things that like foods that are rich in tryptophan, which is the precursor of serotonin, which is the neurotransmitter they need for good sleep. So things like brown rice, bananas, they rich in tryptophan. Turkey is rich in tryptophan as well. So it's important to have this kind of food. But also if you have insomnia, things like magnesium, foods rich in magnesium, which are all the greens are rich in magnesium. Magnesium is important as well for your nervous system. Epsom salt is excellent. So prepare a good bath filled with Epsom salt. It will relax your muscles. And the good thing about magnesium and Epsom salt, absorbs in the skin very, very easily. So, you know, that promotes a good night's sleep. Things like passion fruit is good for...
Oh, yeah, in Brazil we use passion fruit juice.
Yeah, passion fruit is good. Actually, I say in one of my posts, passion fruit we used to give to babies in Brazil. We give to babies to calm them, you know. Chamomile is good, a good chamomile tea, you know, kind of an hour before you go to bed.
But not too much chamomile tea, because then you're waking up to go to the loo.
Exactly. So, you know, an hour at least before going to bed. So you have time to... But, you know, another thing as well is try and avoid electronics before you go to bed. Don't take your phone to bed, you know, leave it away. Try and avoid the blue light, because that messes up with your melatonin and your cortisol.
Mhm.
So what else for immune system? Zinc is really important for supporting immune system. Oysters.
Oysters.
Oysters contain an amazing amount of zinc, and they are
Well,
aphrodisiac as well. So
I know,
that,
but now that you mentioned that, it brings me to sex life.
ooh, yeah,
Because I read on your Valentine post that
yes,
don't overestimate the power of nutrition intervention when it comes to healthy sex life.
yes, absolutely. I mean, we all need to have. I mean, men need to have good circulation,
Okay,
right?
patient.
Hormones are important, and nowadays, again, with the amount of antibiotics and hormones we have from our food, from meat, for example, and fish, farmed fish, they too have hormones, and they are too fed with grains and so on. So it's so important that you keep a good diet, so you have your mind clear, you have good circulation, you have good lubrication. For us women, collagen is so important.
Oh, okay.
Collagen is really important for elasticity, for flexibility,
Uh-huh.
for lubrication, for both men and women. So yeah,
So where do we get the collagen from?
collagen, good sources of collagen. Chicken bones, a very good source of
Oh my
collagen.
God, I love
Yeah, a good broth, bone broth. But again, it's one of the things that are non-negotiable. It has to be
organic.
organic. Yeah,
And how
that's
about if
very
you're
important.
vegan?
Yeah, for vegans, you can have things like oranges have good source of vitamin C, and greens as well. So vitamin C is a precursor of collagen. You need vitamin C in order to have collagen,
Okay.
to make collagen, because we make it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. And I want to talk about the food waste because of that post. Many people been commenting and saying that uh, near to their heart, close to their heart.
Yeah, close to the heart.
Close
It
to
is
their heart.
something really close to my heart for many reasons. One, because obviously the planet, like, we need to look after what is out there, because is an emergency that we're going through. But also there's the moral aspect. With so many people going hungry in this country, it's not just in third world countries. Here in this country, there is a lot of people that are going to bed without food. Uh, and there's so much we can make from what is deemed as waste.
Waste.
Yeah, and the food industry is very powerful with marketing. So things like imperfect vegetables that don't look perfect, literally, that supermarkets just throw away.
Yeah.
That's immoral. That's immoral. So in London is amazing. There's so many charities and many people working towards reducing food waste. So the campaign now is the Food Waste Action Week, just to raise awareness for people to use the foods. Animal, for example, eat everything. In fact, I'm gonna put a recipe tomorrow. I'm gonna make a chicken soup, canja de galinha
Yep.
for the Brazilians.
Brazilian. Yeah.
It's basically chicken soup. But why? Because you can use the entire animal. Buying cheap cut meats. So that promotes the use of the whole animal. So it helps in reducing food waste. So it's something really close to my heart. I think it's important for us as society to understand that those things affect each one of us, each one of us. And food waste is responsible for one of the biggest things in terms of carbon footprint is food waste. the mountains and mountains and mountains of food. And also, you know, relating to nutrition, a lot of people say to me, oh, but it's very expensive. Nutrition is for, you know, it's for people with money. That it's not. This is not true. This is not true. If we learn how to use our food well, if we learn how to cook basics, you don't need to be, you know, you can make it go really far. You can make good food, healthy for a family of 5, 10, you know, as long as you know how to use those ingredients, as long as you use, you know, basic ingredients, you don't need a lot. You can make it really flavorsome, and you can, you know, freeze it. I actually got a recipe to use banana peel, which I've been trying for a long time. I'm gonna make some trials, and then if everything goes well, if I get it, I'm going to post the next few days.
So using the banana peel?
Using the banana peel, yeah, it makes almost like it's almost like a pulled pork, you know. Yeah, I can't wait to try. Yeah, it's but you know, we can use everything. You can use the vegetable peels to make broth. You know, you can make broth with that. You can
wow, like a type of stock.
Yeah, you can make a stock, you know, and then you can freeze it. You can make you know, I make with my bananas, my ripe bananas, I freeze them with other things, and then when I need a smoothie, it's there. Or I mix with peanut butter or whatever, you know. So it's not really that awareness, you know, really the consciousness that we need to use everything. You know? And a lot of nutrients are in the peel of foods, you know.
And that's why we need to use organic, because if it's the peel, right? All the pesticides and
but there are some foods that they don't absorb so much the fertilizers. My Instagram, I posted some time ago. There is the Environment Working Group. Is based in US, but they act here in UK as well. They basically, there you can find, it's an amazing website. You can find a lot about cosmetics, about, you know, food, about everything. So they basically, is a non-profit group that works with the environment and to understand what's there, what causes us diseases and so on. So they have they publish every year the Dirty 12 and Clean 15. It's basically a list of, it's a list of, two lists of foods that are highly toxic that you should avoid if not organic, and a list of the ones that are not too bad. Things like bananas, if you take the peels, you know, if you don't use the peel, because they have that strong peel, they have that thick peel, they don't absorb the pesticides so much. So it is really good.
Oh, good. And it's Women's Day on Monday.
It is, yes. Women's Day, amazing. I think we should celebrate all the, you know, the amazing women out there in the world. And I think it's really important as well to mention that, you know, women, we have so much pressure to look good, to all the time, you know, to age well. And I have people asking me, I do a lot of studies in menopause. You know, I have a lot of clients, they're on perimenopause and menopause. I'm 52, you know, almost, no, 51. But it's so important to, so I always say to my clients, skin, hair, lean muscles, it's all from inside out. You know, you can need to nurture your skin. You can need to get your hair better. You can eat for, you know, for your collagen. So you have firmer skin, you have lean muscles. It's all from the inside out.
Wow.
So, and it's really important to age well in an age where we are also influenced by social media, by celebrities, and so on. It's so important to look at yourself in the mirror and think, wow, you know, it might sound cliche, but it's like, wow, that's me. And, you know, I'm good. I look good. Yeah, I'm good. I look good, you know,
I
and I
feel
can
good.
look even better if I feel good, if I nurture my body, if I nurture my brain, you know, keep learning. Keep learning is so important, you know. Neuroplasticity, you need to keep challenging your brain. You need to keep, you know, feeding your brain to keep well. So I think the message I would like to not just for the women, for the men as well, you
Men's
know, have
okay.
women in their lives. They have or they had mothers and wives and girlfriends and sisters and friends and whatever. It's, I think the message is age well. You know, nurture your body, nurture your brain, and age well. And as my dad says, there's only one way. If you don't wanna get old, there's only one way out, and I don't wanna get that way anytime soon.
It's death, huh?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah.
and also don't be scared of the changes. You know, we change. Our body change with age. It's inevitable. You know, and with the menopause, for example, is a transition that all of us women, all of us without exception, we're gonna go through. And you
Yes.
can prepare yourself to have, and there is a lot to do with genetics, with lifestyle, and you know, but you can actually prepare yourself for a better menopause. Better, what I mean by better is with less symptoms, you know, with
Okay.
more mild symptoms, because there's some women that just go through menopause without feeling anything, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. But many women suffer from the perimenopause, which can start nowadays is starting earlier and earlier.
Yeah,
Even
that's what I heard.
yeah,
Premenopause can last earlier. No, can start earlier, but last also a while.
exactly. So that women out there they can suffer for many years, you know, and also things that are less common but less obvious and people don't talk about much are symptoms of anxiety and
Uh,
depression, you know, and the pressure at work. Almost 50% of the workforce in the city of London are women, right? And women over 40s are massive number in the work industry. So are these women are they going to stop work at 50? They're not.
no, of
You know,
course
I
not.
hope not because I'm 51. You know, I don't see myself stop working anytime soon. So we need to start looking at this. We need to break the mold. We need to stop the stigma, you know, but we need to understand that it's hormonal. It's really difficult to go through anxiety when we don't know where it comes from. You know, irritability. How do you manage this at work? You know, how do you go to your boss and say, menopause? And the stigma, you know, there are a lot of powerful women out there that has to do a presentation, for example, for a room full of executives and important people and having hot flushes. You know, it's embarrassing, but also is looked upon in a very stigmatized way. You
Yeah.
know, you looked upon as you weak, you old, that's it, your life ended. No, that was, you know, years ago. Nowadays we don't need that. We want to be active, we want to work, and we want to feel well. Sex, nobody talks about sex, you know, in the menopause. It
Uh-huh.
happens. You know, you need to look after collagen, important for vaginal dryness, you know,
Yes.
for vaginal atrophy. And if you don't use it, you lose it. So sex is important. you know. Yeah, it's true.
I love
It's
that.
true.
If
You
you
don't
don't
use it,
use it,
you
you
lose
lose
it.
it with anything.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. You know,
And
so those things, we need to talk about those things, and we need to
okay.
empower women
Yeah.
to, you know, not to be embarrassed anymore. It happens, you
And
know.
what about lubrificant, like natural one?
Yeah, there's a lot of natural ones there, water-based, coconut oil, olive oil. You
Ah,
know,
olive
they're all
oil, like
natural.
the
Yes,
natural one.
they're all natural, they're all good, but there are some brands there, they're really good. And again, I can always put there in a Paul's interview, we can always send a list of
Of
recommendations. Yeah,
yes, that's
yeah.
yeah, wonderful. And I have to find this article that I read uh, a year ago. That was two women talking about menopause and about saying how women are so strong, and they were saying how they wanted to they discovered this thing about women that gone through menopause, that they were the best employees ever because they had their kids, they raised families, they know how to communicate, they know how to connect, they know how to collaborate, and they've gone
Yeah.
through and menopause, so they were in the peak of their time for employment. That
Yeah,
was I was like, woo.
absolutely. You know, and again, the power of nutrition to keep your brain, you know, working, because that's what they're saying. There is a problem with memory, you know, it affects your memory, your focus, your concentration. So there are a lot of companies now, they are waking up, you know, for this wonderful workforce. They're there to continue dedicating themselves, but they do need support. And I think our society, we need to stop treating menopause as a disease. It's not a
Yep.
condition.
Yep.
Menopause is not a condition, it's a transition. And as you said, you know, past that, yeah, your kids are grown ups. You have more time for yourself, so you have more time to dedicate to your career, you know. But there needs to be, as a society, we still have this big stigma that it needs to be, and it's not for the women only, eh? Men out there, help out, you know, support your friends, your girlfriends, your wives, your mothers, you know. It needs to be men needs to understand, and not be ashamed about, you know, of talking about that with their partners.
Yep. Communication.
Communication and empowerment, you know. The more you know, the more empowered you are, the more you are, you know, the more you want to, the more confident you become, right?
Yeah. And Fabiana, we are coming soon to the end of our conversation. So I
Wow.
have a few questions here.
Yeah.
If you have a superpower, what would that be?
Oh my God, if I had a superpower,
No.
what would that be? Oh God. It would be to, I don't know, I think I would like to fly.
To fly. Oh, I
Yeah.
know.
Maybe it's just because I can go anywhere now. If I could fly.
I know fly is a really good one. And
Yeah.
if you could go anywhere across time, where that would be? Future, past, anywhere.
Mm, oh my God. I think I'd like to go perhaps a little forward. I would like to go in the future
In
and
the
see,
future.
yeah, and see what science has done for us, because I think we are shifting now from, you know, going very disconnected from the body, from the mind, from ourselves, to, and from the environment, to to taking notice again of all of those things. And I think the next generations, not one only, but I think the you know, 5 years old now, so I think they will have a better understanding what we had growing up, my generation, growing in the 70s, where we were rediscovering, convenience and being introduced actually to convenience and so on. I think I would like to see in the future
What
what's waiting for us.
What
I think,
amazing
I have hope. I have hope.
Oh, great. And what's new?
Oh, what's new? My website.
Yes,
It's
good.
not new yet.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
I've been
not new
promoting
yet.
the website. I've been putting it out there. Is it?
Yeah, so we are rebranding. I mean, when I say we, it's me, right? Alone. But yeah, we're going through a rebrand, and a new website should go out very soon, hopefully. But yeah, that's new. What else is new? I think everybody, every day is a new thing. Every day I'm learning something, and that excites me a lot, a lot, a lot. But yeah, I think there are ebooks coming out as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just making a compilation of my posts, the seasonal vegetables, the Eat a Rainbow. So I'm working on all of that to offer ebooks, so people have kind of a quick manual to go through, if you like. Yes.
And do you have anything like that you'd like people to do, an offer, or like
Yes.
contact you?
So we said that we'd like to offer for the first 10 people that email you, and then you can pass the emails to me or email me.
Oh, I can
my
put the email down.
Instagram. Yeah. We'd like to offer them 20 minutes one-to-one, if anybody's interested. So obviously 20 minutes is not a long time, but with 20 minutes we can talk quickly about any health concerns or any health advice. Yeah, so we can offer that for the first 10.
So first 10 person who get in touch with us will have a one-to-one with Fabiana Matos.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Fabiana, we've been talking and about all these beautiful things we've been saying. I thought of people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. From Maya Angelou.
Absolutely. People never forget how you make them feel. And I think that's it. Nutrition is so powerful, feeling good. A lot of people forgot how important it is to feel good, what it is to feel good.
We already having people. Sorry, we already having people saying, eu quero, eu também.
Send an email. Send your email to
here.
Yeah,
hurry
send your email.
You're going.
Send your email to Karol, and she sent it to me. Yeah, I'm more than happy. I love talking to people.
You can get in touch with her straight away on her Nutrition Healing Kitchen on Instagram.
Yes.
And oh yes, people will forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
Exactly.
And with that, Fabiana, I'll thank you so much.
Thank you
for
having me.
And so educational and so inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to talk about my passion. And thank you everyone for watching.
Yes.
Send us an email and let's have this 20 minutes chat. Thank you, Karol.
Thank you.
Great work. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.